You were. Now that my wife's retired, I don't get up early in the morning as much.
Eddie, I brought Eddie up. He asked me why.
Something's wrong. Do you hear that? I think we're on.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we had a little technical difficulty with the music, I think, but this is Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski, and I'm with my guest.
Ron Stemka.
Who are you today now?
I don't know.
Don Pablo.
Don Pablo.
Yeah, the restaurant. We'll bring you back. What the rules real quick is we got a caller waiting. Any subject you can talk about. I know Ronnie finds it hard to believe. Just keeping the bounds of good taste, and all
Good
subjects
taste.
are open, and we're commercial free. So go ahead, sir. You're on.
Yes, sir. I just want to let you know on 36th and Liberty at the bus stop behind Tops here.
Oh, the one where we had that blacktop put down for you, right?
Yeah, but they never put it down. You still got a puddle of water there where it sunk in a little bit.
Didn't they put the blacktop there?
They put a very little, but near the road there, they didn't put very much there.
Oh, okay.
And then I did call the streets about where the handicap sidewalk is there.
Yeah.
Just past the bus stop, it's all covered with dirt. It needs swept off.
I'll take a ride up there. That's right near my mother's house. So.
Yeah, and,
But
and then another thing,
But they did put down some. I remember, didn't they?
they put very little on the one side.
Okay. Yeah. That's.
All of it, so they didn't. You go up there, there's a puddle of water there.
Okay. What else you want to bring up?
Yeah, and another thing I want to mention it on 21st. I mean, between 25th and 26th on State Street. Well, between State and French, you got very high grass.
Let's see. Between 25th and 26th.
Between 24th, 25th, and 26th, I seen it. I could see it from State Street. You got very high grass.
Where's the grass? In the middle of the block or more towards?
More towards French there. It's all high grass.
What properties there? Just empty ones or what?
There's some empty ones there, yes. Yep, it's all high grass. And I think there's high grass I called about that on 26th and Berry. But it used to have been a business here.
Right.
They close up, that's all high grass. And they got high grass on 18th and Plum.
I'll tell you, the amount of high grass is amazing, but I had some good news. I was driving by East 38th today,
Yeah.
and I want to thank Mr. Vendetti for cutting that field down right next to his car wash, and I think the neighbors will be happy, but it looked nice there. I drove by there, and it was, you saw it too? It was down nice, and that's unusual, but man, there's so much high grass. I'll tell you what, the young people that we hire will be busy, and they probably won't get them all cut.
Yeah.
That'll be the bad part.
Yeah. So, could you supposed to hire summer help, ain't you?
Yeah, we do, but you know what? Between the city's needs, cutting our property,
Yeah.
and then cutting the ones that have been cited, it takes a while, and sometimes they really don't want to put the kids in some of these fields because you don't know what's in there.
Yeah, I know.
And,
You don't know what's in there. You're right.
Not only debris, but critters and everything else. And
Yeah.
we've had a few kids get what you call poison ivy, all kinds of almost near bites, and so we try to be careful with them,
Yeah.
But I'll check these out, and I'll talk to the engineer. But they're not doing 30. Liberty's done now, isn't it? They're not paving it no more, right?
Yeah, it's all done. Yeah, they're not paving it no more, but they did a shitty job. I mean, they did the road all right.
Yeah.
But where you told them they put the black top, they did a piss poor job.
What company did that?
I don't even know.
I don't remember
Yeah,
myself.
we gotta get that a record. Who's
Well,
doing
first of all,
You go up by that bus stop.
it wasn't part of the original contract, so they did
A little
a
bit
little
past the
bit.
bus stop.
The problem is going to be with us.
Puddle of water.
Yeah, the problem is not with them, it's with us, because they were only contracted to do the road, and so what happened was, we talked them into putting a little bit extra on the side there, so I'll check on it, maybe we can,
Yeah.
maybe our people can do some, because the original contract wasn't for them to do that sidewalk or anything.
But it's up to the bus company to do it.
Yeah, good luck. Actually, probably it's more like part of it is probably the property owner too.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
I think
don't know.
we're going to have to talk to them because part of it is their problem. Because just like in front of your house, the sidewalk is your responsibility.
Right.
And you're even required to cut the grass on the city right away, even though it's our right away. So I mean, yeah, we'll have to check into that and see what we can do.
Yeah, and I did try to keep 2 trolleys on the road, but evidently they ain't gonna keep. They only cut 1 trolley on the road.
Well, I think the problem was the funding was eliminated
Yeah.
at the federal. I think it was at the federal level.
Yeah.
And so they were running those trolleys on subsidy, and you know what? People don't use them, and I hate to say that. It's about.
And every time I went on the trolley, it was always packed.
But it's free, right?
It's free.
How's it now when it's not free?
It's still free. There's only 1 trolley.
Oh, okay. So they had to cut back, but is it still packed?
It's still packed, yes.
Yeah, they see a lot of times when the government gives you money, they expect you to.
after 3 years?
After so many years, you're supposed to have a plan in place to, that's like get people used to taking it and raise the prices a little bit.
Well, I heard they were, last year in the fall, they were going to charge a quarter one way and a quarter back.
Well, that we'll have to see, but I do know the bus company is. They got some planning to do. They talked to us in county council a little bit.
Yeah.
And they got some things in the wind that they got to look at long range. So.
Yeah, because are they still building on the new bus company?
Oh yeah, that's
gonna be.
there's like 3 phases of that. And here's the problem. Like we even said.
Yeah.
A lot of. Well, I'm watching I was seeing things outside of City Hall. We got a high lift there.
See that?
But here's the problem. The buses, sometimes they're not covering the right areas for people to use them.
Right.
So they're talking about maybe looking at their network of routes again. And also,
Right.
like a lot of us have brought up, like some citizens did, do we really need big buses? Sometimes maybe in the neighborhoods you need
Have a couple-
maybe a large van,
Yeah, but you want a bus to where you can still ride your wheelchair onto them.
Oh, yeah, but you know what? Hey, to be fair, you do have lift and a couple other things.
Right.
But, for everyday use, sometimes those big buses run around and they take they are not cheap to run when you got.
Yeah, they're not cheap to run, it's right.
So, I think we can work out a way that between maybe the lift has to be modified, for wheelchairs more. But like just for getting some people around where your routes don't draw big numbers, but maybe a van on a little bit more consistent basis.
I think the city bus because it's cheaper.
But don't they run a lot of them run on the natural gas?
They do.
Some of them will run on natural gas.
But you still got, you look how many are empty when they're running around,
Kind where they can run on batteries.
They haven't started that yet.
I don't think they've done that yet, but it's just a shame when you watch buses, like in Erie, people still don't feel an obligation to use them.
Right.
So that, a lot of them are running empty, and that's,
But I thought if you're a senior citizen, you don't have to pay.
but a lot of seniors have cars.
Well, I'm just saying.
You know what the problem is? A lot of people feel like the bus company doesn't address their needs. Maybe a free ride, but if you got to walk, okay, how do you get to the bus? Mm-hmm. Okay, now in my case, I'm not sure if there's even a bus down the street from me. For a while there wasn't. It was one of those weird things where it was like a block overlap. So if you're elderly, you have to be able to get to the bus stop. Okay, that means bad weather and everything. So
Yeah.
if it's not convenient for
Sure,
you.
I take the lift in the bad weather because I can't ride my power chair in
No, and sometimes those buses are, if the buses are if you happen to live in the right area, you don't have to walk too far, then it's great. You can take the bus
I wish
wherever
I
you
could
want to go.
walk. I can walk very little because I have neuropathy. I have what they call a foot drop.
Yeah.
I can't pick my feet up.
But, hey, good luck, and I'll try to get back to you about that. I remember I met you up there one time, so we'll see if they can do anything, or maybe we can rustle up some feathers, get some blacktop put down there.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah, we tried to get some, you know where that is, alongside Tops up there. It's bad, it's all dirt and rough. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Yes. Hey, about the buses, I ride them pretty frequently, and there's a big advantage of the larger buses over small ones, because the small ones, when you get the road real bad,
Yeah.
you get a lot of shock going through the whole bus, and actually some of the passengers can get bounced out of the seats because they're short wheelbase. That's the problem with a small bus or a short, like the lift.
Well, the only reason I brought that up is, like Mercier's had a bus dock. Just dock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mercier's had a bus that they use for their teams, and some of the colleges use them to run kids around towns. But they're more like a box, or they're an oversized van. But for a lot of people, they even use them when you shuttle from the airports now, because they don't, unless you're going to one of these. I'm sorry, what, Doc?
In terms of the Erie streets, the way the Erie streets are,
Yeah.
the larger the wheelbase, the smoother the ride, the better you're off riding it.
Well, the only reason why we brought that up is because we seem like one of the reasons why they don't put their buses in a lot of areas because they can't draw the numbers, but sometimes there's numbers there, but not the numbers to ride a big bus,
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I see your point too.
Because I've discovered that was because I ride the lift often enough, and believe me, you don't want to sit in the very far back of a lift because particularly when they're going through the transition of winter to summertime here, that hold in that I bounced. Actually, I called a lift one of the new Waldemere rides. How high can your butt fly?
Oh. Hey, do the buses come right by your house?
Yes, they do. They go up Old French Road.
Okay.
Different ways. They go that way to the casino, but they also go up above to, I think, about 40th Street, and then go around back in that area, then come back down to 38th Street, go across 38th Street, and go up Lake Pleasant Road.
How far? You're saying East 38th, right?
East 38th.
How far do they go over East 38th?
They go all the way across.
Heading east, they go all the way across 38th, or?
No, they go across to Pine Avenue, go up Pine Avenue to Lake Pleasant Road, and go up into the Senior Citizen Center up in that area.
Yeah, so they don't really go all the way across East 38th.
Yes, they do.
No, but there is one that goes across 26th Street, East 26th, to Walmart, and then goes up past Walmart. I don't know what the exact route that one takes, but it goes up to 38th Street, goes around 38th Street, and comes part of it there and comes back down.
There was one, I remember one time when I used to want to use it, you couldn't go from the bottom of my house, which was like, Stanley Avenue down there, right? You couldn't take one downtown directly. You couldn't go like over 38th and downstate, and it wouldn't come over all the way 38th. It was like convoluted somehow. I got to check the routes.
No, there's one going over 38th Street, right down the corner from me. I see them all the time, going over 38th. I think the Race Avenue.
Yeah, but how far does he go west?
Here's another thing too, Kaz. Now, I don't know if the bus company told the city council or not, but they no longer hand out bus routes, maps, and time schedules on the buses. They want you to go to the internet and search out those information.
Well, that's nice if you got internet, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah, well, and that's just it.
They don't have even a couple there, Doc?
Because it's not easy to do.
They don't even have a couple flyers or handouts?
Not in the bus, nope.
Wow, that's kind of...
That's bad.
I could see them trying to cut back, but, for some people, I tell you what, there are a lot of people, the elderly, that don't have that.
Well, see, they figure everybody's got those iPhones and iPads and...
That's not true, though. That's
but that's,
you know what that is, Doc? That's the young kids that are on these boards.
Mm-hmm.
They think that the whole world began when they were born, there's a lot of people who don't have a smartphone. A lot of people don't have a computer. I mean, I'm surprised the number of people I've said, I'll send you something by computer, and they go, I don't have one. So that's okay, then I'll mail you one. But
Well, and I can understand it, and some people have the ability to use those devices. Even in my case with my blindness like that, I can use it to a certain degree, but not as efficiently as others do. And it's not the fact that I probably couldn't learn it, but if I put more effort to it, it's just that it's hard to relearn things when you've gotten, when you get to a certain age. Sometimes things just don't happen easy.
And some people, I mean, this sounds weird to people that got money and are working, but some people can't afford the internet. I mean, sometimes, I know people that are, they got to struggle just to get cable TV so they can watch their favorite ball team. Then you add on internet on top. It seems like, well, it's only pennies. Well, pennies adds up after a while, You just can't, to say that, well, you can't judge other people's ability to pay for things. So not everybody has the smartphone, and like the smartphones are nice, but you got to pay for the data somehow.
Well, that, and then also if you text, you got to pay extra for the texting.
I always laugh, Doc, when you go to someplace, they say, text us or hit this thing and tell us you like us, and then they get deals worked out with the data company, so they get a kickback on the. Am I right or what?
Yeah.
They want everybody to tell us how much you like us. When you go to the movie theater. Text us. No, I'm not going to text you. I'm not going to give you any more money. I just paid $5.90 for the ticket, and that's all you're getting, plus the popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to text you or tell you I like you.
Well, Time Warner, they try to come up with those package deals for you that you use the internet, cable TV, and your telephone all in one.
Yeah.
A little cheaper. But in reality, when you do that, you'll discover that when the cable goes down, you lose your phone.
Yep.
You lose the internet. So you're out of any kind of communication when the cable goes down. So
They did save me money. I packaged. I did check out when I left Verizon, and I did check around and I checked the how much I was paying for each thing, and it worked out okay. And so far I've been lucky. Rare occasion the phone has gone out. Rare occasion, but most people they're using cell phones now.
right. Do you have a landline yet?
Yeah, I still do.
Okay, you don't know why. The reason I ask is because any person that, from what I understand, that has a heart monitor,
Yeah.
they need a landline to send that data constantly to be watched for your heart. If you don't have a landline, they can't do it.
I remember when the I think it was the gas company came in, they hooked all the meters up to the landline.
Right.
Then they didn't tell you they weren't using it again. And the guy's coming into my house, and I'm going, wait a minute, what happened to the landline? Oh, we eliminated that like 2 years ago.
Yep.
You were paying for it.
Yeah. Oh well.
If that's the best landline, you're better off to get that magic jack they have out.
Now what?
Magic jack.
What's that?
Plugs into your
A
computer.
computer.
You plug your phone into it, and then you pay like a yearly fee, depending.
I think it was, I got 5 years for $94.
Yeah.
5 years. And I got 4 phones on that line. So I got phones all over, and I'm only paying, $100 for 5 years. So what's that come out, $20 a year? Right?
Hey, thanks for calling, Doc. Are you there, Doc?
I'll ask him how secure is that system.
Hey, did you hear that?
Seems like it's good to me, I don't know. The only inconvenience, you always got to put your area code before you just jump on. But you keep your home phone number, your original phone number.
I want to know what good the do not call list is.
It isn't.
I know.
Do yourself every so often on that do not call list.
You know how you get rid of them, though? You sit there. Doc, you'll appreciate this. When they call you, go, Dobry wieczór, and you speak Polish to them.
Well, I'll just give them a bunch of gibberish. Let them try to figure out what.
Oh, that does it, too.
Yep. I had one called me, because it was the third time he called, and I had talked with somebody about it. So, that sounded like a sham, like one of those shams to me.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, it was somebody that had worked with the state police. He said, yeah, you might want to check that. I think that's a sham. So when the guy called, I said, hey,
Yeah.
They didn't want to argue about it.
Yeah, a lot of them, they say they're representing the local FOPs, and I find out, if you really want to give money to your local police force, go down there and give them the money.
No.
Give them a check and tell them thank you,
Or these kids programs,
Yeah.
Make-A-Wish and that. Well, we have our own local Make-A-Wish programs here to do it here, then try to send it someplace you don't know where it's going to end up at.
That's true.
So, but yeah, there's a lot of things locally that you can give to that are just as good as those that call you in and ask for you.
Yeah, at least the money's going locally, you don't have to worry about being part of some big, we're taking the money off the top for administrative fees.
It's like the water department.
I'm going to get back to the buses. Yeah, sometimes, you see the big buses driving by, either look like they're empty or mostly empty. Mm-hmm. But it's odd that, they might have a part of the route that is very small attendance for a while, maybe for an hour or two of the route. But then all of a sudden, like when school lets out, buses are changing classes and that. And you never know what day, I guess if they could sit down and do a complete study, they might find the time frames or certain days that they might have a low attendance.
Oh, when I was a kid, when you were downtown, the buses were loaded coming in here, and the buses were loaded going out. But
That's it. And when they were on State Street, they were always loaded because getting on and off all the time on State Street.
I think that was the biggest mistake they ever did, put that on over here.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? It was done, and I had no vote in it at the time.
They'll move it back at some point.
We always
When
do.
we get a new mayor, we'll put it back.
One thing like I told somebody about, watching State Street, I've seen, and Richard, you remember this, how many renovations of State Street have you and I saw?
Geez, I can recall 4 of them.
Yeah, at least, put it in, take it out, put this in, take this out.
Yep.
Tear this place down, put this in.
And when you get federal grants and stuff, after 3 years, your city's responsible for that, aren't they?
Usually, well, each grant is different. In the case
Like
of,
the bump outs on State Street, them should be
in
taken out.
that case, once they committed to doing them, okay, now you can't change your mind. You have to put them in, and then it's your maintenance after a while. They'll put them in for you, but then
It's your baby.
if you want to tear them out, it's on your dime, and then you owe them. Sometimes I think you owe them back money then, because that was part of a.
Have you ever figured out what those 4 columns are supposed to be here in the park for?
Oh, you mean the sniper towers?
Yeah, those little towers there, because they're an obstacle for someone like myself with the degree of blindness.
I passed a rumor around that Homeland Security put them in.
For what?
Just a joke, Doc. No,
Bike week's coming up.
they're supposed to be lighthouses. They wanted to make the park look like that was the gateway to the park. So instead of putting what do you call that thing would pass over the street?
I don't know.
If you connected some to those towers, like Gannon's got, Doc.
Well, I was thinking maybe they put them in there for like the Wi-Fi and stuff that they want to get around the park for people.
No, it's strictly decorative for. They were to simulate lighthouses that fit in with the nautical theme. I think at one time they were talking about. You ever see how they will put some? They'll bridge the 2 towers and they'll put like something up there like "Welcome to Perry Square" or something.
Sure.
I think that was in there one time.
How much did that cost us?
Banners and stuff across
Those
there.
things,
How much did they put that in? And do that park over?
those towers,
Yeah.
or the whole project.
Well, grants, right?
Well, there was many grants. It's hard to trace because there was. No, I mean seriously. I mean you have grants for the towers. You had 2 phases of grants for the park. The East Park, West Park. You had sidewalk reconstruction. There's a lot of stuff they put in there. Overall, I'll try to get you. It'd be tough. You'd have to go back and look at all the contracts and everything. But it's a sizable amount of money. But don't forget, like I said, they tore up all the sidewalks. That was one phase. Mm-hmm. Then they took care of the one side of the park. Now they're on the other side of the park. You had the towers. That was a separate project.
Well, they took that fountain out of that park too on the west side.
That was done years ago.
Oh.
That you mean the old? The one that was on near Gannon.
Yeah, where the gazebo went up to. And
Yeah, well, the mayor one time he was talking with me and he said, we were joking about that, fountain. He he's younger, and a lot of kids his age and people don't remember that fountain because it was but when you and I were in college, it was in pretty bad disrepair. It was overgrown with weeds and...
Yeah, it was. I do remember it needed some attention. And the other thing I see that I'm not catching down at the park anymore, we used to have a lot of pigeons. Those, they weren't too much of a hindrance, but they were at least an entertainment for some of the senior citizens. They sat in the benches.
Yeah, they're gone, right?
Well, down there anymore, neither.
Maybe it's those turkey buzzards or something. No, but anyway, get back to that fountain. The mayor wanted me to find it because there was rumors it was stored somewhere. Where it ended up, its demise ended up at the Marsh Street Garage.
Correct, I remember that.
And what they did was it was stored there, and then over the years it fell into disrepair, rolled over the hill, and then was just finally dismantled, destroyed. So it's history. And if you want to see a picture of it, you can look in some old Gannon yearbooks or find some pictures of... yeah, or you can look, if you're lucky enough to find old pictures of the park. You have to be rural to remember when they had the German bandstand down there, though, too.
I don't even remember that.
So you guys are young. Youth is wasting on you guys. Hey, thanks for calling, Doc.
Don't start aging yourself there, Kaz.
No, I'm not, but I want to be around forever.
Well, imagine you do. But
I want to write the 200-year history.
But you don't want to outlive Bagnoni.
Oh.
You'll be the new Taxpayer Hotline guru.
Yeah, maybe someday we'll go back and pull out one of the old tapes and play one.
I don't know. Yeah, it sounds like Bagnoni's on there again. But you know what? If you do, you'll probably find that times really haven't changed much from the stuff he used to talk about, and what you're talking about is still there.
Yeah, but it's always the same.
Nothing
they
changes.
Don't change much there. Well, anyway, thanks for taking the call. But I just wanted to say about those buses. In my experiences, those long buses have their advantage of making it smoother riding around.
Yeah.
Particularly if you got a back problem or something like that. When as you get older, your back, get your aches and things, and it can really bother you by riding a smaller bus. If it bounces, they don't have the shock absorbers in them like they should have. Or if they put, like the lift, they put those side lifts for the wheelchairs. They can't have good shock absorbers because of that. So they makes it rougher even to ride a lift for going places. So.
Thanks, Doc.
All right, you take care.
Okay.
Bye now.
So everything that's going on in the park here right now is like a second phase of what they started with the towers and everything.
Yeah.
And so how much of that is city money and how much?
Very little, actually.
Money? Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon. I don't want to stay on too long.
Okay.
I know you want other people to be calling in. I'm going to make a couple of comments, and then I have a question for you.
Sure.
Kudos to Vendetti for clearing that property over here on 38th Street without being hounded this year.
Yeah, I was really happy to see that.
Yeah, me too. My next comment about our absent mayor. Disgraceful how he dismissed Ed Kissel. Ed, he just looked out for the average Joe, the average citizen. I don't think he did anything for personal gain, so it's shameful how his dismissal was handled.
I agree with you. Eddie was a class act, and whenever you get citizens that are willing to, volunteer, it should mean something,
Now, Eddie did this for 25 years. Came down here, city council meetings, did all kinds of things for 25 years. And just to do what they did, and you're right, I agree with you 100%.
This mayor could only hope that half his citizenship was like Ed Kissel.
Yeah, we should name the Bayfront after him someday, but I know, knowing Ed, he wants nothing to do with it.
Right,
Now,
exactly.
after you got done.
And then I want to finish up with a question here.
Sure.
We're forgotten. Up here in Erie, we're forgotten by the state, we're forgotten by the federal government.
I would agree with you.
And the lower our population goes, the worse it's going to get. I think, this was said, because I asked the mayor one time about, whatever happened to the merging of Erie with surrounding areas. Mm-hmm. And of course he poo-pooed it, and well, that's a state issue. There isn't a whole lot we can do about it. Well, I disagree with him. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, and if you don't constantly talk about the possibility of merging, it will never, ever happen. It might not happen, mm-hmm. but it'll never happen if you don't keep talking about it.
I would agree with you.
Now that leads me to my question. If we were to even maybe possibly merge with Wesleyville and Harbor Creek, forget Mill Creek. Mm-hmm. Those supervisors, they want their pension. They don't want to rock the boat. I understand that. But even if we were to merge with a couple smaller towns like that and get our population built back up, but it'll never happen, like I say, if the conversation's not there. Now that leads me to my question. You got so many organizations in Erie. You got Destination Erie. You got this Erie. You got that Erie. No one even knows what one organization's doing.
And look at the money they get.
I've said
the
that.
Money.
Go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry.
Look at the money they get too. It's unbelievable. And we have no work in Erie. Erie, you're losing all the jobs. There's no jobs. Come on, I don't see no one going out to get jobs. You can't go to Harrisburg or Philly. You have to go like Texas.
I think this woman hit it on the head, though. Ma'am, I think you hit it on the head.
Well, this is my question. Everybody you talk to, well, it's not city council's responsibility. It's not the mayor's responsibility. It's not Destination Erie's responsibility. Well, who the hell's responsibility is it?
Stops at the mayor's office.
What we need to do as a city is, this is our problem. I was embarrassed yesterday, and I was going to comment later about we are now the 8th fastest declining city in the United States, okay? Think about that.
That's bad.
I mean, we're...
So, Joe...
And this lady brought up a good point. Here's what we got. To me, it appears... And ma'am, you can, if you want me to stop out, I just think there's too many, like you said, they're like firing a shotgun out there, but nobody's firing a bullet at the target. In other words, the problem is we're trying to make everybody's got their own little fiefdom, but nobody's really solving the problem, okay? We don't recruit businesses into the city. We got root causes of problems, and council, although they can't do everything, we need to be, along with the mayor's office and everybody, and we need to be pounding Harrisburg's door for reforms. Now, we can have a merger. It's not easy under state law, but if they wanted to come with us, that's what makes it tougher. We can approach them, but they have to agree to come. We did almost have a merger with Wesleyville. That almost happened with the police department.
I think they should.
But you know what? Those are issues like this lady brings up. Until we talk about it, nothing's ever going to happen. You would agree, right, ma'am?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have to talk about it,
It's not, mind you, it's not going to be easy because state law is not set up to allow mergers easily. But, eventually, some of these townships are going to wake up and look and say, we're all in the same boat. All of a sudden, we can't grow our way into prosperity. We're built up. We got problems with our infrastructure.
Oh, look at Mill Creek. They're going to have to put a fire department paid.
Well, sure. And they
realize time is coming up.
Right now, Summit's a golden boy. They got everything going for them.
They got the money.
And Mill Creek's getting built up pretty good. They can't no longer, tax their way by building more new properties. But, this lady has a good reason. But nobody sees a problem. I mean, I said it for years. Drive around the city. And if we're 99,000 now, and we're 8th fastest going downhill, that's not a good barometer.
Yeah, but there's 10,000 foreigners that came into Erie last year. 10,000?
Yeah.
What do you do with them? They don't pay taxes. We got to pay for their schooling for the kids.
Go ahead, ma'am.
2 more questions.
Yeah.
Did you ever go up on Fargo? I mean, it's just a stone's throw away from your house. I can't believe you never saw this burned down house before.
Yeah, I did see it. I got one on my block, too, on Stanley.
Well, what the hell?
Well, we got one on Stanley. It's been there for a year and a half.
What? you got this house over there on 26th and German that burnt down, and it was totally demolished and torn down and taken away within weeks. I feel really bad for these people on Fargo. If you look around that burned out place, you got neighbors with very nice, well-maintained homes. And then you got this to deal with. And the taxes up here are not cheap.
Fargo's similar to where I live on Stanley. We're about the same. And when you look at the burned out house on my block, the people are asking me the same question. You know, it's been boarded up, but, you know, critters get in there, and the longer it stays there, you know, all of a sudden, you know, it becomes a blight for the rest of the neighborhood. If you live next door to it, you're not happy. You know, you got to look out at a house that's burned out and boarded, you know, for a year and a half or 2 years.
Which is a house on 21st Street, burnt down about a month ago on 21st, one block west of 21st and Parade. I think people are living. They got boards on the windows.
Oh, they do. They move back into them.
Oh, yeah, I think this police department, fire department should board those up and don't let anybody in there.
Well, they board them up, they go back in, but like this woman says, you know, it's almost better if they would burn and they would be deemed a hazard, because then they would have to be torn down. If they just get burnt and they're, you know, still, you know, fixable and everything, they could sit there until we go through the process legally of trying to get them taken care of. It takes...
Let them burn to the ground to begin with.
Pardon?
Just let them burn to the ground to begin with if they're vacant homes.
You know, you hate to say that, but, you know, you start to wonder about...
I can say because I'm not an elected official, so I'll let you off the hook.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm mad because every time I bring it up, they say, you have to go through this process. There's a process you have to go through. You can't take somebody's property. If it's a hazard to the public, then we can take it down if we got the money. But we'll find money, you know, we have to.
If we have money.
Well, we have money put aside every year for blighted houses. You'll see them now, they're tearing some down on Parade. But we have emergency money we have to do. You know, if something has to go down, we have to find the money somewhere. You can't leave a house up that's, you know, it's going to fall.
I got one final comment, then I'll let you go.
Go ahead.
It's a sad commentary when our local government cannot take care of abandoned, burned down homes. How the heck can we expect them to do anything about bringing jobs back into this area? It's pathetic.
Well, you know...
One last thing. You know, there's a drought out in California.
Yes.
And I'm not saying this is the answer, but has anybody from our city approached somebody like, it was in the paper a couple weeks ago, Starbucks has a water bottling facility in California, and because of the drought, they're moving their bottling facility back to their secondary facility in Pennsylvania. Has anybody in our local government ever thought outside the box to maybe go and try to entice business to come to Erie for like a water bottling?
Well, I think we got fluoridation in our water. I don't think they can bottle that.
Oh, maybe we could finally get rid of the fluoride.
It'd be good if you ever read it. It's got fluoridation. It got poison in
Is
it.
that what the hang-up is?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I do know the Water Authority bottles water, you know, not for profit, but for distribution at conventions. But no, ma'am, I think it's been brought up in the past, but I don't think anybody, as you say, the people that are supposed to be the economic...
Things are brought up. Where are they brought up? You never hear of these things.
No, you don't. You know, sometimes I've made it a point when I'm out of town, if I meet somebody, I always bring up something to them. And it's amazing, like, I'll give you a perfect example. Nick Scott, the local businessman. No one ever asked him why he didn't build in Erie. He's never been asked why he didn't put a business here. So, I mean, I can only imagine when you're talking about approaching, let's say, Pepsi or Coca-Cola or whoever bottles the water, there's companies out there. I remember when I was looking at a Walmart bottle. Do you know where they bottled the water from, ma'am?
Where?
I was down in Virginia, and I looked at it. It says, it was in a Walmart store. It says, you know, water, you know, big gallon jugs. Municipal water system of Buffalo, New York.
Oh, it is the best.
Yeah, and I was amazed. So, I mean, and I'm thinking, yeah, we got water. Now, I think we're allowed to take so much out of it because you got to deal with the Canadians also. But, yeah, you know, our one big thing is we probably could have a bottling plant here for water.
Yeah, the old hammer mill site. How perfect would that be?
But, I'll bring it up to, the people that are supposed to, see what the reasons are if anybody's ever approached them. Or maybe I have to write a letter myself to Coca-Cola and say,
A year from now, I'll talk to you. Now that's it.
But there's an idea why we need what I call committees of citizens and free thinkers, people like when you talked about Eddie Kissel, people that have no vested interest, just sit there all day and think about things that nobody ever asked them anything. We never asked people that probably got thoughts going through their head.
Doesn't do nothing like that.
Huh?
The administration doesn't.
Nobody does. I mean, why can't you have a committee of businessmen and a committee of, citizens that want to serve to come up with novel ideas? So maybe you throw half them out. Maybe you throw them all out, but you have alternate thought process. You hear some other new ideas.
So do it.
Yes.
Start it.
But thank you for calling, ma'am.
No disrespect, but the idea you just came up with,
Yeah?
best idea ever came out of your mouth.
What's that? I mean about
Do it.
Wonderful, wonderful idea.
about citizens and stuff, you mean?
Committee.
Yeah.
Set it up.
Hope you pursue it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll tell you why afterward.
But that other mayors have tried that, in the past, to some degree, like, calling in a, we used to do in the Army, we'd have like a student committee or something like that. Go ahead, caller.
What is the function of the Erie Planning Commission?
Which planning commission, ours or the county or,
On
pardon?
the one that Eddie Kissel was on.
I don't really know because they got so many subcommittees. That one might have been set up. Sometimes by law you have to have like what they call a citizens review committee.
Yeah.
When the state comes in there and does projects. He was on, I think they call it the Metropolitan Planning.
Mission.
Yeah, so I know they had something to do when they were talking about the McBride Viaduct.
Well, that was a different commission that was built for.
But I think that went through them too, though.
Well, I don't know if it does or not, but what happens is they get a plan, they send it upstairs to the mayor, and then he sends a resolution down to city council.
Well, give me an example. Some things don't come to us.
Well, let's say they wanted to build a park, like the dog park.
Right.
Did that come from upstairs down?
Actually, that went convoluted. That was the Fabrizi family. That whole park was interesting because you had neighbors that wanted to develop that park years ago.
Yeah.
And they had their own little committee they formed. And they met with, at the time, the council and the mayor. And over the years, they've been talking about different plans they had that they like to see done. Now, a lot of them are dependent upon whether the city can help them. They can get some grant money. But over the years, many things evolved.
That's true.
And then finally, we still have plans for that park, but unfortunately, the money's not there. So the Fabrizi family came up with an idea about a dog park. And they approached, which they would have to do, you approach like the mayor's office and, Parks Department, who's in charge of that. They put some things together. They had the engineers go out there and look at it. And then it did come to council eventually, the plan,
Yeah.
But, in our process, that's why you have the administration. They have the engineering department, the Parks Department, Public Works. And so, they looked at the project and they said, well, maybe this is a good idea. And then they brought it to council for, and then they had public hearing, I think, on it also.
True, and all the bobbleheads agreed.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree it was a bad or good idea. I don't like where they put it.
That's true.
I think the middle of the park is the prime piece of property. I think, to use part of it for a dog park, not a bad idea. I mean, we have to start developing. You ever been up there, John?
Yes.
You've been in there then, right?
Yes.
Beautiful piece of land, isn't it?
Yes, in fact, there's a lot of natural stuff going down. You have a creek going down through there,
Right.
and
But we screwed it up when we took out that hill. What they call it? Spinster Hill, was it? Or
the whole thing here is
they had a hill for like sledding up there.
right. There seems to be money for all this stuff for anything that the mayor wants. Just like he has people appointed to the convention center that's on city council. He has another gentleman appointed. He's on city council. City council should never get into any of these authorities because it's a double dip. And there's a chance of, hey, I'll scratch your back, you scratch my back.
Are you in favor of who appointing authorities then?
Oh, well, you got, I won't say his name, but he's on the convention authority. His mother-in-law is the head of one of the banks, and he's on the convention authority. Is he not?
Well, he's a liaison.
Well, but still, he's on the authority.
Yeah, we don't, the council, no council member is a member of the authority. They're liaisons.
Well, it's the same game. The mayor appoints them.
Point two.
He appointed someone on as, his...
Actually,
this way.
the council president appoints...
Who was talking to the council president to appoint a so-and-so to various interests that he has.
I can tell you this year, I asked for a couple new liaisons, and I got them.
Yeah.
And to credit Dave Brennan, he gave me, somebody else didn't want them, and because if you have seniority or an interest in them, you can have them. But I got the liaisons that I wanted, and I'm pretty happy with them.
You should have a conscience. If you're a liaison to something that's going to come into development down the line, either you recuse yourself from voting.
Oh, I agree with you there. Yeah, John.
Don't take it.
Yeah, you should never be on anything that it even looks like you have a vested interest.
That's right. Anybody on city council that is in any position on the outside, if he finds out it's going to be a conflict of interest, he should resign or not run for council.
Hey, I'm not happy Eddie got, the way I looked at Eddie Kissel, it's good to have a dissenting opinion a lot of times.
Sure it is.
And, on some things I agreed with Eddie, and some things I disagreed with Eddie.
And I bet the mayor will be down for the fish fry.
But maybe, but I'll tell you this about, one thing about Eddie Kissel I learned. He does not care about placards or plaques or, and Eddie, I have respect for Eddie because he was like myself and you, John, he was a veteran,
Yeah.
And I respect him for that because he's got the kind of attitude that he wants to get things done. He doesn't care who gets the credit.
Oh, you like him because he left East and went to Tech.
I never knew that, but I watch him. He goes to the airport with me. Why does he go there? He doesn't have to go there.
To be abreast of everything going on.
Yeah, he does, and
Concerned citizen.
and he's very polite.
And he doesn't get paid for it.
No, and he's very polite,
All the whole time. He's been doing it for 25 years.
Look, I know he's to some people he'd be a pain.
He's been doing
But
it for
that's
longer
okay.
than 25 years.
I talked to him, and he said about 25 years.
But,
I laugh because every great leader has no men around him or people that disagree with him.
it's true.
And sometimes those opinions are, like, look at Eisenhower when he was on D-Day. He had half the guys said, no, not today. Yeah, today. No, you make the decision. But, and at the end, you have to make the decision. But it's good to have alternate viewpoints.
That's true. One more thing, and I'll get out of your hair. The lady was talking about the house up on Fargo.
Yeah.
Well, it is a disaster. It's half burned down. It's leaning. Yet the city can take $80,000 or more and go and fight those poor people that had all that sewer runoff in their houses and take the money it's going to cost them to go to court and fight that. They could take that money and take that house down. Now, if that house was downtown, it'd have been gone by now.
Or a certain neighborhood.
True. But,
Yeah, we got, I told this lady, there's so many burned out houses around town now, and it's terrible.
the house by your house is boarded up.
Yeah.
This is laying down. Somebody could go underneath there and the house will fall on them. It is a hazard. It's a safety concern. So, Mr. Zimmerman, if you're listening, get out there and don't worry about contacting the owners. You know who the owners are. The police know who the owners are because they had a barricade around it for the longest time.
We have to change state law, too. We have to be able as a city to take faster action on certain problems,
That's the trouble. Everything has to be registered mail. You got 2 weeks to get it registered. The people are out of town.
There is something coming down the line that they tried in other towns. They call it trying to think, it's a new term for the court, but you can issue citations quicker, you can move the process along quicker, and you kind of put it in the hands of a judge, actually.
Yeah, I imagine.
And that supposedly the theory is you can go quicker, less politics, let's get it done, get the house down, get it out,
Well, in this situation like that, I hate to see some little kid get trapped in there or somebody get in there and falls down on them. It's been almost a year now. It's been there.
Yeah, I'm amazed what they consider hazardous and what they don't do sometimes,
Yeah, must be a gray line.
Yep.
If it's just dangling, it's not a hazard, but if it falls, then it's a hazard. What happens if some kid gets hurt and killed?
Then we take action.
Yeah, that's the trouble. Politicians take action after the dog or the horse is out of the barn. Now you have a great day.
You too, John.
Okay, that water, people probably got your water bills.
Oh,
Okay.
it's a busy day.
Well,
You did it today, see? Go ahead, caller.
one.
I was wondering why they're putting satellite casinos like in the airport, I heard. Why couldn't the mayor put one in the bottom of the Boston store down there?
Oh, they're talking about it. They haven't. I don't think they've done it yet. There's a bill. I think it was I can't remember if it was a state congressman or state senator that proposed put them in airports because Chris Rogers at our airport was made aware of the bill, and he said that it hasn't been passed yet, but it would be interesting that they would allow airports such as Erie and Pittsburgh and Philly and Allentown, they could have casinos. I don't know if they would spread it to Boston store, but you know what? I have a feeling that once they start experimenting, they'll probably allow it.
And just use the revenue to pave the streets.
Well, I agree with you. One of the things that amazed me is that when they passed this legislation to the casino law, a town like Erie that doesn't touch Summit physically can't get any money. So we don't get a dime out of that casino. Okay. No, I mean, the way the law works, that only the communities that are contiguous, that's a fancy term for they touch in the community, like Mill Creek touches Summit. We don't have a link with Summit. We do not have a physical link. If we did, we could put in a claim for some of the money. Okay? I mean, they give us money out of that fund.
Well, when they put the casino on, didn't they give people tax breaks, $200 or $300? You go down and apply.
I think that was on a statewide level, I think. But this gentleman says if they passed it, I would hope the new law would say, like, local community can use the money. That's what you have in mind, right, sir?
Right.
That'd be a good idea. Like, think about if we could have a casino, and we, like the airport, the way that project sounds is they're going to say the airport can keep the money for airport projects, which isn't a bad idea, okay? If that's what, like for terminal repairs and stuff. But like this gentleman brings up, if we could have one in wherever, Boston store, wherever, and we could keep the money, that'd be a nice idea. Then we could earmark it.
Is there any law that says, like GE or any of these shops, if you're collecting a pension from them, you can't work for them? Does that go for the city too?
You mean if you're on a city pension?
Right.
If you get a city pension, the only thing you can't work for is the city.
Now, say
You mean you're talking about if you leave employment at the city, can you go over to GE?
No, I'm talking about
Okay.
if you retire from the city
Right.
and then you get hired back on the street department or something,
You have to give up your pension.
you're pulling a pension and you're still collecting. I'd like you to find out how many people are on that
You mean that
for working and pulling a pension.
that are with the city now?
Right.
That are pulling the city pension?
like the police officers, they retire.
Yeah.
They might go in the sheriff's department or something like
Well,
that at the airport.
That's different. You
That's
can't,
double dipping.
wait a minute. You can go from one municipality to another sometimes. What you can't do in the city is if you're in the streets department.
Back into that, Trav.
Yeah, can you hold on? I'll explain a little bit while you, and then you get back to me on this. If you have a city pension
Right.
and you quit, well, here, a prime example. you get a pension, and you're done. Okay, you're collecting on it. If you come back for whatever reason to the city, and it's happened, okay, then you have to forego your pension.
Kind of stupid.
Well, no, you have to give it up. It's like the city, I mean, with the school district. If you're a teacher, you can't teach for another district. Once you're on, well, that's a state plan. That's what they call the P-Serve plan. You can't go and work for Mill Creek. That's under the public school pension system. You can't even work for a lot of charter schools. You're done. Okay? If you're in the city and you quit here, once you get your pension, if you want to come back, you freeze your pension. Okay, you can't double dip that way.
Now let's get with that water department.
Hang on, we'll get you on.
Yeah, you got a few minutes.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Cass. On those homes you talked about, burning down,
Yeah.
what possibility could city council encourage maybe some company to come in and to tear them down for the wood and sell that wood to places, people or places that burn wood for like wood burning fireplaces or hunting camps?
Well, the school district did that with the woods behind Connell. Remember that?
Yeah, but that was with the woods. I'm
Right.
talking about those homes, tear them down.
I don't know of anybody that offers that service, but that's a good thought. I can find out if anybody knows of a company that does that.
I mean, you think of recycling. That's one way of recycling the wood that's in those buildings.
Yeah.
So that's an idea that I was thinking of when you mentioned about how to get those places torn down, and then even the glass can be taken out and recycled, whatever,
Right. I'll bring it up with Public Works and see if they've ever been approached.
Well, either that or else maybe you can treat some. I'm sure on the internet there might be some way to contact people that do that for maybe a living or a company that does that they'll come in the city area and do that for a certain number of homes, if they have them lined up to do.
Because there's been other things that we've been approached on that were like out of the box type ideas. They'll come in and they'll clear out some of your problems, but I've never heard that one yet, but that's a good idea.
All right, well, that's an idea.
Thanks, Doc.
Now, I think I brought this last quarter about the water department from 17 to 21. Just raised the fee for doing the bills. Now the water bill is separate by itself now.
The water bill is separate, and the sewer and refuse are on the other one.
Right, but the water is all by itself. So instead
It
of
always was, though, really.
Well, they had the water and sewer before, didn't they, on the water department?
But they always had two administrative fees. I
Yeah,
checked.
see, that was.
Now you got two separate bills, and that's why you notice it more.
Right, but from 17 to 21?
They can do it. They don't need our approval. They're an authority.
That's why this authority is running wild.
Hey, while you're here, you guys on the Facebook once in a while? Our engineer, Mike, was it your birthday yesterday? Huh? Maybe.
He's not sure. He can't remember.
You can't turn the camera on you, can you? I wish I had that.
He wouldn't.
We gotta say happy birthday to Mike, our engineer. Without him, there'd be no show.
No show whatsoever.
Thank you, Mike. Did you have a good birthday?
Okay,
And with that,
Are we done?
we'll cut Ron off. We're out of time.
What happened? It was a busy show.
Everybody in Erie called.
Everybody.
Everybody. All the people.
I never even got to my tirade about being in eighth place.
They were on TV yet.
Yeah, we are. So like I said, they're an authority, unfortunately.
Like an authority, it's the worst thing you can put in.
Yeah, well, I can agree with you. It was once we lost control,
Who was that? Who was the mayor at the time? Bacchio?
I think so.
Boy, she really screwed this town up, didn't she?
That thought was going on long before her too, though. It's been a work in progress. How do you feel, DJ? Good?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you said you didn't want to talk too much today, remember?
No, sore throat, getting sick again.
We're waiting for your report, though, when you feel better.
Well, I will have a report.
Okay, what are we going to do at the airport?
What do you mean?
They don't want to bring the big planes into Erie.
They didn't say that.
Atlanta, they don't want to take a plane down there. They don't have the planes.
When they first did the Atlanta run, we were told that was temporary, possibly. From what I understand, the last airport meeting I attended, Delta is very happy with Erie Airport. They upgraded the size of our planes already.
I think I said I've been on one.
And they have plans for future. The biggest problem, as Chris Rogers brought out, and if you don't have to believe him, you can just read the USA Today, the Wall Street, read any major paper. The problem is crews and aircraft. They don't have them. And so it comes down to what they were using in Erie, they probably can make a better use of it somewhere else. Does that mean they won't come back to Erie with the Atlanta run? No. I think they've seen it's a producible run. Delta, I think, of all the airlines we've been dealing with, seem to have they seem to want to do something more here, aircraft-wise. And there's a rumor that United is thinking about doing some other things too.
Well, you got to get smaller airlines in New York, Southwest.
Well, they are looking at one. I'm not at liberty to say yet. I asked about a couple, and there are some new airlines we're talking about. They're constantly being approached. Right now, it's a problem of we do not have the hardware. We don't have the crews or the airplanes. And as they add them, they're going to add them where they can make money first. But the fact that the Atlanta run did well bodes well for the future. And with that, what's that, the adios?
Adios.
We've been on the air, you know that.
Yes.
Good night, Erie.
I knew we were on the air, that's why. But that's why I said.
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show.